Hi, everyone.
Hey everyone, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Lucy, and we run Sticker Guru, a stationery and stickers shop.
We created the Big Plans podcast to share the things we've learned over the past 6 years of running our own business.
And now let's get into the episode. So, as you can tell from the title of this episode, we are revealing our kit creation process.
Yes,
And
we are going to be going over how we
Mhm.
create a kit from start to finish, from computer to in hand, how we create our kits.
I think this is going to be a long episode. So, get your popcorn, get ready.
Yes, grab a snack.
Yes. Okay. So, also for you guys, we have created a checklist guide of this process. So, if you're a visual learner like myself, I really like being able to see on paper the actual process. So, you can download that in the show notes if you're interested.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with the first thing that we do, and that would be sourcing clip art, looking for art.
That is
So,
honestly the hardest part, in my opinion. It's like
yeah,
hard to
I
find
think
art.
it is hard to find art, especially when I feel like we've used so much of it already.
If you're somebody who's artsy, you're doing the art yourself, and that's really cool. Props to you. But we don't draw our own stuff. So we depend on sites like Creative Market, Etsy, artists who post their art on there.
Yeah, we always get questions on where we find our art. So those are the two sites that we mainly look at, Creative Market and Etsy. I think Etsy has a little bit of a bigger selection, but there's also
Mhm.
lower quality art, I feel like. Creative Market is a little bit more expensive, but definitely recommend checking out both of them.
Yeah, definitely. And I think once you've been in the game for a while, you'll notice that these same artists are selling new, like the same artists are drawing for the planner community. You've probably noticed if you're just a customer how a lot of the art looks similar. There's like, like certain designs, the way people, the styles of how people draw. Yeah, I feel like there are just artists out there who are specifically drawing art for planner shops to use in their stickers.
Yes, and then in terms of, like, what type of art we look for, I would say seasonal stuff mainly, so, like, spring, summer, winter, whatever,
Holidays.
and then holidays are really good, like Valentine's Day, we released a bunch of, like, Easter kits, and then just also looking at what is currently trending in the planner community, so I know currently it's, like, springtime, so a lot of florals,
Lots of
things
florals.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot
yep.
of florals, which I'm a huge fan of.
We love florals. Okay. Well, I think sourcing clip art, while it's the hardest part, it's probably like the least complicated. So let's go into something that is a little bit more, has a little bit more steps. So designing the
So
actual kit.
yes. So we have a template that I created, the kit format, and then we will design the clip art that we purchased, and we'll make it fit into the
The template.
template. So we do all of our designing in Silhouette. I know some shops they use Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop, but we're just getting started with Adobe Illustrator.
It's
But we'll
hard.
do
It's
it is hard, it's a little bit
complicated.
confusing, but we do 90% of our designing in Silhouette, I'd say.
Yeah, yes. Silhouette, I feel like once you figure out how to use Silhouette, it's pretty handy.
Yeah, it gets the job done,
It gets the
honestly.
job done.
It's
Yeah.
pretty straightforward. Yeah, not there's not a bunch of, like, other random tools that I feel like Illustrator offers. Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of our process, I start off. So I make the file, I put in all of the art, and then Lisa picks the color palette because she has a better eye for that. And then I do the first draft of the kit. So I put in the art and the colors into the template. And then Lisa does the final draft of the kit by rearranging things, adding foil, the finishing touches. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so we as you can see, it's, like, a lot of back and forth, like, we both put efforts into designing a kit. I'd say it's pretty 50-50.
Yeah.
And I think we mentioned it in a previous episode, but we use the Kanban method using Asana, and we basically just will hand off the task or the kit to the other person whenever we're done with it so that we're not just sitting around waiting, doing nothing. We know when it's our turn to start working on the kit.
Yeah, it's been really helpful to do that. And that's like a recent development as well. We didn't use that before. It was more of like a just telling the other person, "Hey, I finished," or "Hey, can you do this?" But
Yeah, and we would have to, like we'd either, forget about it because it was got lost in our messages, or
mhm,
we just have to, like, drop whatever we're doing to work on this urgent task right now so that the other person can continue, and it was just not super efficient,
got a little
but I
crazy.
think now it was definitely very very messy,
Yeah.
but I think now it's a lot more organized and streamlined, which is really, really good.
Yeah, and I know people listening are probably you're probably running your sticker shop by yourself, and if that's the case, I still think this would be helpful to keep
Just to
track.
visualize, yeah, keep track
Mhm.
of all the things you're working on, especially if you're doing, like, multiple kits
Kits,
or
yeah.
collections in a release. I think it's just helpful to keep track of what you're working on and what is completed or incompleted.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's go into printing, which Lisa is like the
Yes.
printer whisperer, so I'm gonna let her speak on this because 'cause I'm not.
So, once the kit is finished being designed, it's ready for printing, and we use the Canon Pro 100 printer. It's an inkjet printer. It's a pretty massive printer. I wanna say it's like 50
Huge.
pounds.
It takes, like, both of
Um,
us to carry.
yeah, it's very heavy. We have a few of them, and so I'll send it to the printer, and one thing I wanna say is that a lot of people ask, like, how do you get such good colors on how do you get your printer to print good colors? So colors that match the computer or whatever you see on your
Mhm.
screen, and definitely, I would say mess with the printer settings. When I was we, for the longest time, were printing just using the default settings, I wanna say
Oh
for,
my
like,
gosh, yes.
several years.
Several
I would
years.
say maybe, like, 3 or 4 years, probably 3 years. We were just
Uh-huh.
using the default printer settings, didn't change any of the color settings, nothing like that, and we just accepted whatever came out of the printer is what we worked with. But when we, started using the Canon Pro 100, I finally took the time to actually adjust the settings to get it to look like the computer screen, and I highly recommend that to anyone to just mess around. A lot of people ask what settings we use, and honestly, I just change the setting, mess with the settings, and whatever comes out the closest is what I have stuck with.
Yeah, and I would say it probably varies based on printer, so whatever we have may not work for
Right,
you.
exactly.
Yeah, but definitely just testing, a lot of testing.
Yes, a lot of testing, a lot of test prints. And then since we do create foiled kits, I will print out of the Canon first. So I print the inkjet, and then I will take it to our second printer, which is an HP LaserJet. It's just a laser printer, and I'll have that print the foil elements on top.
Mm,
So a lot of people ask what is our foiling process, and that is the first two steps for printing.
okay, so now that we're done with printing, let's move on to the next step, which is cutting. So we have a machine, right?
Yeah,
We have a machines, yes.
yeah, we have 8 silhouette portraits.
Yes.
We also get a lot of questions about that. Yeah, we use silhouette portraits. It is pretty simple to learn how to use. There is definitely a learning curve,
There's
I'd
a learning
say.
curve, as with
But
Silhouette, the software too.
right, right. But I think once you get the hang of it, it's pretty straightforward. Our current setup in terms of how we cut our stickers is we'll use all 8 machines, and we usually have 2 people cutting. So one person is, loading the machines, and then the other person is actually clicking the button and then sending it to
To the
the
cutter.
silhouette.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the cutter, telling it what to cut exactly.
Yeah, that
We
works
found that
best.
this is just the best for us. I know some shops you can totally just do it on your own, but I found that this is actually faster and a little bit more efficient.
Yeah, and it's kind of a balance too between how many machines you have and how fast you can reload. So I would also
Right.
take that into account because if you have 8 machines but you're not reloading in a way where each machine is constantly going,
Yeah.
it's not as effective.
Right. I think some people they'll like load it all on first before and then they send it. to the cutter, but
Mhm.
I personally think that that's pretty inefficient. I think it's faster to load one and then send it, load the next, send it, and then that way something is running at all times, you know? So there's no machine that's idling
Yeah.
at any point.
Yeah, and if you're interested in seeing our cutting setup, you can always go to our Instagram. I feel like we have so many reels and videos of our cutting setup, also on our YouTube
Yeah.
channel. So I would check that out if you're interested.
Yeah. Okay. So once the stickers are finished being cut, it is time to add foil. This might not apply if you don't add foil to your stickers, but we do for the most part. We actually have a foiling video on our YouTube channel. It's a really short video and it basically just explains how we add foil to the stickers. And I even show like all the equipment that we use. So if you are interested in seeing that, we have it linked in the show notes.
Yes, along with our foiling guide, which I created because y'all know I love these guides. So if you're interested in that guide as well, the link is in the show notes. You can go download that, and it just has like our process on there. I will say that foiling, it took us so long to get on the foiling train. I feel like there was
Yeah.
a while where we were just too intimidated to
Yeah.
actually
To
foil.
get started, yeah, because we were hearing, like, all kinds of horror stories of how, like, how difficult it was to add foil to your stickers or to, like, just foil stickers, and it's honestly not that hard, so I will, again, shout out our video because I think it has a lot of tips, on how to get really flawless foiling.
It also took us, I will say it did take us a long time to get to where we are now
Right.
with our foiling quality.
Definitely required a lot of experience of just understanding, like, the different heat settings, paper, the foil that you use, techniques is a huge one, and
Mhm.
just yeah, the whole
Even
process.
the ink itself
Even
can
yeah,
affect
even
it.
the laser,
Oh, yeah, the laser.
toner
Mhm.
can affect it, so, like, printer settings, all that, like and we're finally at a point now where, like, it's pretty much flawless, I wanna
Mhm.
say 90-95% of the time, so it's definitely a huge improvement from before, and so if you would like to save all that time and
Time.
struggle, please check out the video and the foiling guide.
Yes. We also invested in a lot of different, like, machines, different foils.
Yeah.
There was so I feel like we also spent a lot of money just trying to figure things out besides just, like, time.
Yes.
But
And I think
yeah.
not the equipment honestly doesn't even matter too much. I would say it's mainly the technique of how you foil your stickers is how you're gonna get the best result.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. So this is, I guess, part of like we were talking about. We are at a point where we have 95% flawless foiled stickers.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about our quality control process.
Yes. So this has evolved a lot over the past few years. I wanna say
It went
when
from
we
non
first started, it went from non-existent
existent.
to very detailed now, but
Mhm.
quality control. So I think step is crucial to every single sticker shop. If you're not doing quality control or if you're just very lax about it, I think you should reconsider
Mhm.
because it's so necessary, especially for larger productions. If you're making several kits, a lot of kits, a lot of stickers, then you really want to make sure that all the time you're putting into it is actually you're going to get a good product, a good result at the end of it. And you're not just wasting all of your time and resources to only end up creating a ton of oops stickers. So we have several steps that we have implemented into our kit creation process.
Mhm.
So let's just start with the first step.
Okay. So I feel like this one, when I first started out, I was doing most of the designing because Lisa was in school at the time. And
Mhm.
because I was still learning how to use Silhouette, I feel like there was a lot of mistakes with like the cut lines and the boxes being aligned. Like they're just like really small things or like forgetting to change a color. Now we're at a point with the template where we can change things relatively quickly,
Mhm.
but just making sure at the designing point that everything is correct, you don't have any typos, everything is aligned, because
Right.
once you print it out, that paper and ink that you've spent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then going along with the printing, that's our next step
Mhm.
is the color being printed out actually correct? Is your printer malfunctioning? As something that we've ran into a lot over the years is sometimes but we don't even notice it until it's printed out a huge stack, but the printer was malfunctioning of some sort
Yeah.
and the colors are completely wrong and inaccurate from what they should be.
Yep.
So if that happens, we will pull it from production. We'll just keep a huge stack of
They're like, "Oops."
sheets that are like that. And then
Mhm.
whenever it's time for an oops sale, we will just cut through those. But we pull them from production so we're not wasting any time,
Yeah.
trying to make them into kits when they are obviously an oops.
Yes, definitely. We
And
have a
then,
policy.
yeah.
Oh, I just wanna say we have a
Mhm.
policy, and I think it's funny. We don't let the printers print unsupervised. So,
Yes.
we used to queue up the printing so that it would print overnight while we were sleeping because printing takes
Yes.
a long time.
A long time, especially when you're working with inkjets, they are
Mhm,
very, very slow, and, like, to print 1 page out of the Canon Pro 100 that we use takes, I wanna say, like, 2 minutes for a
mhm.
single page,
Yeah,
so that is also why we have multiple printers, but we do not let it print unsupervised because, mistakes will happen, like,
like,
and
guaranteed,
we
it
don't
will happen.
yeah, we don't notice it until it's printed out a huge stack, so, yeah, just making sure that someone is, nearby the printer at all times.
Yeah, those printers are really tricky. And again, like I said, Lisa is the printer whisperer. So it's so funny because the printer will make a sound and she'll know exactly what's the issue with it.
Right, or, like, it lights up and, like, it says there's an issue, I just know, like, what's
She
wrong
knows
with it.
instantly. It's just like,
Yeah. I mean, it's just, like, experience, like,
uh-huh.
if I've experienced all these issues, and now I'm just used to it, and I know how to solve the problem now.
Okay, so next is cutting. I feel like there's a
Okay,
lot
so
with cutting.
yes. So the reason why we also have 2 people, doing the cutting is because at the same time, whoever is, on the computer controlling the silhouette machine, sending it to the cutter, which is usually me, that's what I'm usually doing. I
Mhm,
also, while doing that, I will quality control the stickers that are coming off of the machine. So once they are finished being cut, we take them off and I will inspect them really quickly to see if the lines are accurate and is the sticker actually peelable from the sheet.
mhm,
And I think this is one that a lot of shops don't do is that they don't check to see if the sticker you can actually peel it off of the sheet. And there are two problems that I've run into with that. So either the sticker is completely just you can't peel it off at all because the blade was dull or the blade was just, broken, whatever. And the second being that the sticker was cut too deep, and then when that happens, although it's not cut through, like, the sheet itself is not cut through, you still can't peel the sticker off because it's cut just a little bit too deep, so it's picking up the backing as well,
mhm,
and you just yeah, so definitely make sure you are checking to see that your stickers are actually peelable because there have been several times in the past where we didn't check that or we thought it was fine
mhm.
because it what came off of the machine, but then we've, like, sent it out and people will email us being like, "Hey, I can't peel the sticker," and so, yeah, that's just something we've run into in the past,
Yeah,
and now we
so
are
I think we're
super
pretty good at it
careful.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep, and then finally, foiling, going back to our foiling technique, I think we've reached a point where we don't experience this, but before we would have a lot of black spots, so now we check for
Yes,
that.
a lot of black spots. There was one point where story time,
I feel so embarrassed to
so
talk
this
about.
was this happened maybe 3 years ago now. It
Mhm,
was we were doing this was when Hobonichi kits were super in, especially for, like, $2 Tuesday,
mhm.
that we would be selling, like, the foiled Hobonichi kits for $2, and I remember someone had promote us on their Instagram story, and, like, all of a sudden, we had started getting, like, a ton of orders, the most orders we had ever received,
At that
and
point,
we
yeah.
were at that point. and we were, like, super excited and really shocked and just, like, obviously very grateful for these orders, and we, like, like, started working on them immediately,
Mhm.
and we at that point, we did not have our foiling technique down at all. We had I
This
wanna
was
say, like, honestly, we had no idea what we were doing,
Yeah, I mean, this was
which
like
is
the beginning of our foiling
yeah,
career,
it's
I would
still
say.
still towards the beginning of our foiling journey.
Mhm.
And, like, I just remember making all these Hobonichi kits and, like, foiling them, and there just being so many black spots, and, we needed these stickers, like, right away for orders, and we just were not able to get good quality foiling no matter what we did, and it was very frustrating,
Mhm.
but unfortunately, we did have to send out those stickers because we needed them right away. So, like, the quality was definitely not there, unfortunately. And I think that caused people to not want to come back
Mhm.
because the quality just wasn't there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so that was
Learning the
that was
hard
definitely a hard lesson learned.
Yes.
And I wish we had spent more time perfecting our foiling technique before we were selling those, but, like, we were never expecting to sell so many of those kits.
Yeah, it's kind of like an embarrassing story that we laugh about now, but at the time, we were
It
so
was
pressed. We were like,
yeah,
"We need to get
it
these
was
orders out."
super frustrating.
Yeah, but now we are the
But
foiling
now
queen,
yeah, now
so
we foil with ease, so we never have that issue
Yeah.
anymore. I've also gotten really good at spotting out not spotting out, I guess, yeah, seeing black spots in stickers foil
Mhm.
now. I feel like because I'm so, like, trained I have, like, a trained eye for spotting black spots. It's really quick for me to pick out all the ones that are, oops.
Yeah, speaking of oops, what do you do if you have a ton of oops?
So we will save up all of our oops, our misfits, our problem stickers, and if we have like I said, we have a stack of stickers that were like printed the wrong color, then we will save that until we want to do an oops sale, and then we will cut
Thick
them all up,
Mhm.
and then we will do an oops sale. So we typically do them.
Or if
I want to
for
say,
foiling when we're going through foiling, you find black spots. Like,
mhm.
even if there's one tiny little black spot, that is an oops. So, I think the strictness with our
Yeah.
foiling means that we, end up having oops, like a lot of foiled oops, or not a lot of foiled oops, but, like,
Not a lot, but,
a chunk.
like, we'll just save it up, and
Uh-huh.
then I wanna say we used to do them more often because, like I said, we were working on our, technique and whatnot, but now I would say we haven't done one in a
A long
while,
time.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't think we have enough for one just yet, but I think we do them probably, I wanna say once every 3 months, so, yeah, I think maybe we might have enough in March,
Yeah.
so if you are interested in an OOP sale, keep an eye out in March.
Yes, definitely. Okay, and then finally, the assembly of the kit. This part, I feel like we have a technique for this as well, or maybe everyone does. I don't know.
What do you
I mean, like,
what is your technique?
okay, my technique is I lay everything down, or like I'll lay all the page fours down, then I lay all the page threes down, then the page twos, then the page ones.
Okay, see, that's what I used to do, but I
Oh,
feel like that's actually slower.
okay. Share your technique.
So your technique is to basically do, like, all the page 4s, lay them out on a table,
Yeah,
and on top of that, do the page 3s,
yeah,
and on top of that, page 2, page 1.
yeah.
I do them so I had just have 4 piles in front of me. This is, like, what I do because I feel like we don't have a lot of space in our office. So I just have 4 piles, all the page 4s, all the page 3s, page 2s, page 1s, and then I'll just grab 1, 2, 3, 4, collect like,
Oh,
I just grab it 1, 2, 3, 4, and put it into the bag, and it's done. Do the next one 1, 2, 3, 4, put it into the cello bag, it's done. And I feel like that's personally for me a lot faster. Again, the we just don't have a lot of space to like
yeah.
lay out all the stickers, so I feel like that's just also the most space saved.
Yeah, that's
Requires the least
true.
amount of space.
I feel like you're very fast at putting things into bags, whereas I know I'm slower at bagging things, so it's easier for me to just
Mhm.
bag it all at the same time, so I get
I
a rhythm
see.
going, you know? But
I
yeah,
see, I see.
I'd be curious to hear how other people assemble their kits.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear also.
Okay, let's get into the Q&A. So I'll ask the
Yay!
first question.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you all for sending in these questions. We ask, I think typically we'll ask like on Thursday.
Yes, on our IG story, you can submit a question.
Yeah. So thank you for everyone who has submitted. We just gathered the ones that were kind of related to today's topic. So,
Yes,
first
it could be
question.
about anything though.
Yeah, you could ask us anything. We'll save it for a future episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you design everything yourself? How do you manage that and everything else? And then they have the head explosion emoji.
The mind blown
I'm like,
emoji.
yes. Hmm.
So yeah, we do design everything ourselves. Obviously, we don't draw the art, but we, in terms of like putting them into a kit, yeah, we do create that ourselves. And then how we actually manage that, like we said, it's a two-person process with a lot of planning and batching in advance. And we also do like the Kanban method. So a lot of planning is required. But
I
yeah, I
think
think we've been getting down to a good
rhythm.
routine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Batching, I think, is the biggest thing here, which we kind
Absolutely, yeah.
I feel like we've implied it, but if we haven't gone the message across, like batching is the best way to be time efficient with all these different steps. So, whereas before, I feel like we may do like we'll design one kit, then we'll print that one kit, then we'll cut that one kit. Now it's like we'll do all the designing and then we'll do all the
Yes,
stitching and then all
and
the
all the cutting. So
etc.
just
Yeah,
doing all of your work in batches and not just start to finish multiple times. It's just
yeah.
we've noticed it's been a lot more efficient that way.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and spending, like, specific days doing specific tasks, I
Yes,
think helps as well.
yes.
Oh,
Helps keep us on track.
mhm, mhm. Okay, next question. Is it hard to find clip art that other shops have not used yet?
Oh, yeah, this is really hard.
So hard.
Like, very difficult. I
I
wanna
think,
say, like, I there's been some art where I've seen, like, multiple
like,
many,
everyone,
several, like,
literally everyone
everyone
uses this.
literally everyone and their mother has been using the same kit
Yep,
the same art for their kit, and it's like, at that point, I'm like, "I'm kinda sick of this art now, like,
yep.
do I even wanna use it anymore?" So I think the key to find art that other shops haven't used yet.
I think it's not so much about trying to find art that other shops haven't used,
Uh-huh.
because it's so hard. I think the key is to design in a way that's unique, and
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, so things like
I
adding
think
foil helps to
adding
make your kit.
foil, having a different kit format, just whatever to do to be different from these shops. I think adding foil especially helps make your kit stand apart
Yeah.
because I've
Mhm.
Mhm.
Go
No, go
ahead.
ahead.
I mean, like, changing the color palette to be more unique, 'cause,
Yeah.
also combining clip art, so, like, combining clip art from different artists, and also, I think something that I haven't seen a lot of other people do, but that we personally do is taking old art. So art that we may not have used from previous years that artists
Mhm.
released maybe like 3 years ago that everyone used 3 years ago. No one's using that art anymore. So I personally like to find art that's old just because by the time like 3 years later, no one's going to remember that art.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. Okay, next question. How do you decide what kind of artwork to do for each new release?
Okay, we kind of talked about this in the very beginning when we were talking about sourcing art
Mm.
because, like we said, we base it on season, holidays,
Holidays, things
things
like
that are
that.
coming up.
I think ultimately we use artwork that we really love,
Mhm.
that we think that we personally would use, and like,
Yeah,
yeah, just artwork that we really like.
because you're looking at this art like literally every day for hours. So for
It's
us,
really easy to get sick of it.
it's so easy to get sick of art. So it's kind of important for us to find art that we enjoy looking at, that we
Mhm.
definitely would use ourselves because we literally
Yes.
look at the same things over and over again every single day.
Yes, and then usually by the time we release it, it's like, I'm so sick of this looking at this art, but even though it's like a new product,
Yeah, or like since we designed things that are, like right now it's winter, but we're designing spring things. By the time spring rolls
Mhm.
around, I'm like, I'm so sick of spring.
I'm
I'm
like
over it.
I'm over spring, like, spring literally hasn't even started, and I'm thinking about summer. I'm
I'm
like,
thinking about summer.
"Oh,
Yeah.
what kinda, like, summer art is there that we can use?" Like, I'm literally living 4 months ahead, like,
Yeah.
at all times.
Yep. Okay. Final question. And I think, Lisa, you can answer this. How many kits do you
Mhm.
normally print for new releases on your first day?
That's a good question. I'd say and for the first day of for the first, weekend of new releases, I'll probably print, I wanna say around 40 full kits, and then for in terms of B6 kits, I would say it's probably, like, half of that, so maybe, like, 20, 25. That's, like, what I've been currently doing, but I have noticed we typically will run out of stock pretty quickly, so I end up having to, restock this amount multiple times, which I've noticed is happening like basically since forever. Like
Mhm.
to create the kit, not create the kit, but like reprint and restock the kit several times. So I think in the future I will be
Making more.
printing more. Yeah,
Yeah.
making more just because I've noticed it's pretty annoying to have to like go back to open all the files again, to send them to the printer again. Just I feel like if I just make more from the start, I won't have to, keep printing them again. So that is something that I want to work on going forward. I think it's better to produce too much than too little because you can always sell it. Like we never have any issues of selling product.
Mhm. That is a lot
So
of
yeah.
people's fear, like the made to order shops. We're not
Mhm.
made to order. I don't think we've ever been made
Right.
to order.
Um,
Question mark?
no,
Yeah, we've
no.
always been
Maybe
made
yeah,
to ship,
maybe like in the beginning,
like the very,
for
very
like a
beginning.
couple months.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but no, we've always been ready to ship. So
So we have to have
yeah,
like stock on hand. And I
yeah.
feel like people are reluctant to switch over to being ready to ship from made to order because they're afraid they're not going to get rid of the inventory. But
Like doing this all these years, we've never had an issue of selling product. Yeah,
yeah,
I think you just have to be creative about it. Like you can always, discount it, do like a discontinuing sale.
even giving it away as like, like a bonus freebie if you spend this amount
Right.
or whatever.
Right, like you said, tiered freebies, you can do, like, a mystery kit pull.
Mhm.
Literally, there are several ways of, selling it, so don't ever worry about not being able to sell, I'd say.
Yeah, it's like you want to be smart about how much you're printing, so don't base your numbers off of ours. Look at
Oh,
how
yeah,
much
definitely, like,
look at your own
help
sales.
definitely look at your own, stats,
Yeah.
your own analytics, and base it off of that, like, look at past kits, how many you've sold of those, and then base it off of that. Yes, this is all, like, look at your own analytics for this one.
Yes, yes, but I like we said, we I think this is the way to go is because you save so much time not having to constantly like we said, like you can batch and you save so much time by
Mhm.
batching.
Yes.
So those are all our questions.
So that is all. Again, if you want to ask any questions, feel free to email us or
Yes.
like I said, we post a Q&A thing on our Insta story every Thursday usually. So feel free to ask us anything.
Yeah, we love these questions. Thanks for sending them in. And just a reminder, we have a checklist of this basically everything we talked about today of our creation kit creation process. So if you're interested,
Yes.
that is in the show notes. Go check it out. And that is it for today.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Sticker Guru.
Check out our shop website, stickerguru.com.
Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.